go live here. Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you are all well. I am going to get everything set up here so that my Antipodian co-host can be seen also. So pardon me for just a half a tick while I bring him in. Okay, let me see if I need to minimize me. I hope everybody's all right. Now, if you're watching this and you're wondering, hey, why isn't Bill on Facebook? Well, as it happens, I was told by the Zuck to take a... Kyle's giving me the finger of shame right now. I was told by the Zuck to take a 3-day vacation because I made a joke to a friend of mine who was in a group that apparently had very sensitive very sensitive folks in it there. All right, we're almost there. So that. So yeah, the Zuck got upset with me. So this should just be working, and I'm wondering why it's not. It should just be grabbing everything. You know what? We're gonna do this. It's gonna grab the display. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. And now, I don't know why it hasn't grabbed me on the display, but Kyle is there.
Am I? Okay.
And, of course, it's complete jank on YouTube. Or it might be lagging behind. Let me see.
It is lagging behind.
It is lagging.
And you have a strange thing where there's just the strip of you and then the strip at the bottom. So I think you've selected what not to show rather than what to show.
All right, we'll get this right. Like I said, it's not a stream of mine unless something has gone terribly wrong with the audio video. All right, turn that off. Turn off display capture. All right. And I'm actually going to turn me off. I'm going to turn virtual camera on. The virtual camera should be grabbing me and showing me at least to Kyle.
No.
Cam link. And there I'm back in Discord. And now if I capture the Discord window, it should just show up like it always does. Discord pop out. So there's the Discord pop out, but it's all blank.
Are you trying to be fancy, Bill? This is what comes with trying to be fancy.
I know, man. I'm terrible about this. So I can tell you guys while I'm moving this around that I'm pretty kind of fed up with Facebook for taking what was an out of context statement from a private conversation and punishing me for making a tongue-in-cheek crack. And my feeble, tiny little fist shaking at Facebook is not going to make them change their policies, not one whit. My God, I've censored myself out with this giant bar. A giant bar of censorship.
What are you trying to do, man? Why don't you just do what you've done before and what worked?
I don't know. All right.
Keep it simple.
So we can see each other right now, but nobody else can see us. YouTube can't see us, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a big black bar over your head. I don't know what the hell's going on there, man.
There's me on YouTube. I'll get this sorted. But it should
You've been censored like a printed swear word.
It should just be, I go to Discord. I've got my Discord call out here. I've got you popped out. What if I go over here? Wait, is the world seeing that? So how have you been, Kyle?
I've been fine. Been good. Can they hear my voice at least, I hope, out there on YouTube? I hope they can hear my voice at least. They don't have to see my ugly mug, but they have to hear my voice at least.
Why must this be so goddamn difficult?
I don't know. This is why we should pre-record. I don't know your fascination with live.
Well, I'm back and stuff has broken again. I'm now a purple streak. Yeah, I know. We should pre-record. Yes, I'm a purple streak again.
Keeping it simple.
Start streaming, and we don't bother with virtual camera. And I do this. I do Discord pop out.
Don't try to be innovative, Bill. Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition is innovative. And look where that got us.
I'm just trying to innovate, man. I'm just trying to innovate.
No, don't try.
I mean, clearly I have screwed something up. This is most distressing. If push comes to shove, I'm just going to capture display and you guys can see Kyle's smiling face, and don't worry about me. Alright, so let's go to OBS. If I click display capture, and I'll just turn my camera off. So there you are, Kyle. The world can see your smiling face, and that's because you're the game master. But what we're going to be doing tonight, as last week? Yes, I think it.
Yeah.
Yes, last week we played first edition AD&D, Keep on the Borderlands. I DM'd Kyle through it. Kyle had never played B2. He'd done all the classics. He'd been through the meat grinders of Against the Giants. Have you played Temple? Kyle, have you played Temple of Elemental?
Yeah. Everyone's done the Temple of Elemental Stupidity.
Yes. Just remember, folks, all the good parts Gary wrote. All the bad, slow, mucky parts where it drags are Frank Mentzer's work. Just remember that. And you'll have a fine time.
Total hackfest. It's total hackfest.
Yeah. Although I do think it's funny that I want to say it was Tim Kask or Michael Mornard who actually calculated, or it may have been Gary himself, who calculated that there's like 170,000 or 70,000 something, like if you haul out all of the arms and armor of all of the temple's faithful and sell them on the open market at 2/3 depreciation, you'll still clean up quite nicely. But then that's making the A of AD&D into accounting. Chartered Accountancy, the role-playing game. Doesn't exactly have the same zing. So, Kyle, why don't you show the nice folks Conflict if you have your print copy handy?
Yep, so here's my print copy. I have to show it low because over the top of my head there's that black virtual screen that you've got. So I have to show it low on the camera.
That's fine looking.
And I can also share a screen of where is it? Of the so that's my PDF. PDF on the home computer.
See, it just works.
To show how to make a character.
Ah. And
Because I'm not trying to be fancy. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so I don't try to do anything fancy.
All right.
You know, it's like when I drive the kids to school. I don't try to do a drift with the car. You know, when I'm turning a corner, I just turn the corner.
All right. Now I do want to make sure. Just give me a mic check, Kyle. Just want to make sure. Give me a mic check.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oops.
Still got that black thing in the corner though.
Yeah. Well. All right. So, to move on, we are going to create a conflict character. Well, I'm going to create a conflict character with Kyle's guidance, and we're going to run this character.
I can't see it. There's a big black square over the screen share, so the viewers at home can't see.
It's lagging behind, so it'll catch up. It's not as fast as Facebook was.
Okay.
But it should.
Okay, good.
All right. Necessary for play. Conflict book alpha. Friends with imagination. We can work around that. Snacks. I just got done with dinner. Paper, pencils, and 2 6-sided dice. So I have my lucky D6s here. Since we're a radio program tonight, you guys will have to rely that is the sound of my lucky D6s. All right. All abilities and equipment are rated as 0, 1, 2, 3. Shit, suck, good, and great. Some may be temporarily better or worse, but never outside 0 to 3. Throwing 1 die is annotated 1d6.
So you want the next page, making an adventurer.
Oh, sure. I was just getting a feel for it, letting it soak. All right. Establish name, nationality, ethnicity, and gender.
Yep, those are all up to you. Okay, so those are all up to you. Normally the referee will set the nationality, but ethnicity, gender, and all that are entirely up to the player and have no game mechanic effect. Makes no difference if you're black or white, man or woman, transgender, like to have sex with pineapples, whatever. Makes no difference in game mechanics. It may, of course, make a difference in play.
All right. So let's see.
You can do that, or you can do it at the end. But yeah.
All right. So we get your 3 attributes:
Yep.
social, health, and education.
Yep. So you throw 2d6 for each.
Wait, I can't do 3d6 and discard lowest? All right.
No.
All right, here we go. So let's see. We've got
Oh, I've got a typo in there. Anyway, I'll fix that later.
social. Got a 4 for social.
Okay, so that's social 1.
All right. I need to fill in that last little bit of information and get a piece of paper.
Social class 1. That means that he or she is from a working class background. Social class 0 is the underclass, which in Western society is long-term unemployed, refugees, severely disabled, ex-felons, people like that. people that society kind of craps on.
Right on.
That's social class 0. Social class 1 is the working class that just some of society craps on. Social class 2 is the middle class, the professionals, white collar, who crap on everyone below them. And then there's social class 3, the upper class, who everyone craps on. And who crap back, but their craps are bigger because they're upper class.
All right.
The way I described it is that in the game is that social class 0, you do not bathe. Social class 1, you shower after work. Social class 2, you shower before work. Social class 3, someone else bathes you. So you're social class 1. How about your health?
Health. All right, let's see. Got a 7 for health.
Okay, +1. And your education.
Oh, and by the way, I should point out, because you folks can't obviously see me at home, in the spirit of Sapper Morton before him, this character is on the back of a grocery store receipt. Got an 8 for health.
It's not a proper role-playing game unless you can do that. Unless you can put your character on the back of a grocery store receipt.
There you go.
If you can't, it's too complicated. Don't play it.
All right. So education is also a 1.
You might want something more sturdy if your character lasts. 1. Okay. So he's from a working class background. He's got a sedentary but not sickly level of health. And he's got a high school education. Or she has got a high school education.
There you go.
So far, anyway. Their later career may change this.
I'm like 95% of the
Okay,
guys I
familiarity
used
is
to go to high school with.
You now determine the character's starting language. Okay, so where they're from? Where's your character from?
We'll just keep it simple. He's from the United States.
Okay, so his starting language is English then. Could be Spanish. That's a major second language in the US. I'm sure it's native language for a lot of people growing up there, yeah. But let's say English. So you can write down familiarities: English, conversation, and literacy. So the way language works is there's 3 levels: conversational level, then literacy, and then after that, technical. Technical being all legal terms and terms in engineering and so on and so forth. So if you've got education 0, you didn't finish high school, you can barely read and write, but you can converse. If you finish high school, education level 1, then you're definitely literate. And then the technical usually comes with education 2+. But again, this may change later on. So you can write down familiarities.
All right, so I have familiarity, English, conversational, and there was one other there.
And literacy.
Literacy, okay.
Yeah, so you can read and write. Because you finished high school.
All right.
Okay, so now the next step is to look at starting readiness. So the next pages just talk about what social health and education is. So readiness, for those who don't know, is like the lubricant for the friction of combat. Okay, you get 1 action for each level of readiness. Most people have readiness 0. That means that any conflict situation, they just freeze up. They do nothing. Floating around the internet this last week was a video of a man assaulting another man on a subway, I believe in New York, and just beat the shit out of him, beat the poor bastard into unconsciousness, and everyone just stood around and watched. Even though the assailant was unarmed, everyone just stood around and watched. Most people have readiness 0. In a conflict or a trauma situation, they'll do nothing. I've had the experience of many first aid situations. When a woman smashed her car into the front of my house, everyone just stood around doing nothing. I stepped in and helped her. However, readiness can be pumped up by good leadership. So when I told people to do things, you fuck off down the road and wait for the emergency services to come, you keep the people back, that sort of thing. They went ahead and did it. So if you've got some leadership, you can give someone else readiness. They'll go and do that, and then they won't do anything else after that. So on the train, had somebody said, let's go get him, then some people at least might have followed them if the person was sufficiently personally commanding, if they had the leadership familiarity or something related to that. But most people won't do anything. So the readiness that you have depends on your background. If you have a rougher upbringing, if you've been exposed to violence and trauma, you are more likely to act usefully in a conflict situation or a difficult situation. So you can see it depends on your social class, the chances of each thing happening. Social class 0, the underclass, they are exposed to violence and trauma. They all have readiness 1. Social class 1 has it sometimes, social class 2 has it less of the time, and social class 3 has it none of the time. The upper class don't have readiness as a matter of their background, because the entire point of rising in social class is to insulate yourself from the suffering of life, including random people beating you up in the street. So social class 1, you'll have readiness +1 on a 1 to 2 on a D6. Otherwise, it'll be 0. So roll a D6.
I got a 2.
2. Okay, so you've got readiness 1. You got knocked around at some point in life.
All right.
Okay. Now, the next is going through to page 7, I believe it is.
Yes, and we have the background chart.
Yeah, so based on your social class, you may have picked up some sort of abilities growing up. Social class 1, survival, sports, strength, hunting, science, or some sort of craft. So roll a d6 and see what you get.
I got a 4. That is hunting.
Hunting. Well, now we know that your experience of trauma. You've been out there, hunted animals, killed them, cut them up, and so on. That's why you got readiness 1. Makes sense now, yeah?
There you go.
So for hunting, you choose you choose a familiarity of hunting, which is like environment, like temperate, Arctic, arid, and so on. So depending where the guy's from, like if he's from like North Washington or something, then it would be, temperate forest. If he's from Arizona, it might be arid. I don't know what you hunt in Arizona. Lizards, but snakes, I don't know.
Well, I think the vast majority of the United States, for the most part, is temperate, so...
Okay. So we'll call it hunting temperate.
All right.
All right. So that's his background, okay? He's 18 years old. He's 18 years old, and at the moment, his stats are social class 1, health 1, education 1, readiness 1. He's not expert with anything. He's familiar with English, conversation, and literacy. But if you start doing technical talk, lawyer talk or something, he gets a bit lost. And he can hunt in temperate zones. He can hunt out in the forest and the like. He can enter play now, or he can try to enter university or the army or the police.
Oh, I think we're gonna do a hitch in the army.
Okay. So we'll skip over the tertiary, go over to page 9, I believe it is.
Yes.
Service in the army. Okay, so there's an achievement throw. So whatever happens when it works a bit like Classic Traveller, with the 4-year terms. However, even attempting to enter the army or enter university or attempt a promotion or something like that takes up a year. Whether you succeed or fail, it takes up a year. because that might represent you spending some time training physically to try to get, fitter and stronger, or studying for exams, or it might represent you're one of those people who went to university and bombed out in the first semester, and you kind of drift aimlessly for a year. But so whatever you do, it will take at least a year, if you like.
All right.
So he tries to enter the army. You need an 8+ on 2d6, but you can add your health to it.
All right, so 2d6 plus 1 is?
Yeah.
Got an 8 exactly.
Okay, cool. So he enters the army. All right, now in the second year, he gets familiarity. In the third year, he gets some familiarity. And the fourth year will be a deployment or a posting somewhere where nothing particular happens. Okay, so roll d6 and a d6 to see what familiarities he gets. So he starts off with general entry.
All right, so you said 2d6 on this roll?
Well, it's a d6 separately, because you get 1 to 6. You get one of those familiarities that you roll twice.
Well, I got a 5 and then I got a 4.
Okay, so you got firearms and brawling. Makes sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Now, the particular kind of brawling that you get, you've got to choose. Okay. So let's get down to the skills. Yeah. I put combat skills first. Yes, I did. Okay, particular kind of brawling. There's punching. So in other words, you do boxing, kicking, like taekwondo or something, sweep, grapple, dodge, and multiplier weapon. Multiplier weapons like when you use knuckle dusters and things like that.
I think we'll do boxing.
Okay, so familiarity with punching. Okay, and then firearms. There's different types. Okay, now, so just to emphasize, an adventurer gets almost everything at a default of 0. The things that you're familiar with, you get a +1 in. Okay, so if, for example, you have a familiarity with handguns, you can still use assault rifles. But you're +1 with handguns, and you're a 0 with assault rifles. So what familiarity will you choose for firearms? You've got handguns, rifles, assault rifles, rocket launchers, shotguns, machine guns.
Tempting though it is to take something like machine gun or rocket launcher, I think I'm going to stick to the every soldier a rifleman vibe.
Assault rifle then. Assault rifle. Rightio. Okay, so that's that term. Now, back to page 9. Okay, so back to page 9. Here we go. Army general entry. Okay, you can attempt a commission or a promotion. Not both, but you can attempt a commission or a promotion. And attempting it takes another year.
I'm going to try and break the family mold, Kyle. I'm going to try for a promotion. A commission, rather. I'm sorry, commission.
Okay, so you need a 10+, and you get to add your social class to it.
All right, so D6 plus 1. Survey says, got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so 2 things happen. So firstly, you finished your first term of army, your health goes up by 1. Okay, so your health goes to 2. The other is you now have a combat skill. Having any kind of combat skill makes your readiness go up by 1. So your stats have gone from straight 1s to 1, 2, 1, 2.
All right.
Okay. Now the commission takes so having got a commission, you can get 1 additional familiarity from the army branch, the general entry army, or you may choose a presence familiarity. So presence is things like leadership and intimidation, charm and dress, things like that.
He's an officer, but he ain't no gentleman. I'll take another familiarity with weapon.
Okay.
You don't have to be nice to somebody if you blow holes in them, Kyle.
This is true, but presence also includes leadership. So you'll be, if there are an awful lot of second lieutenants without any leadership. That's all right, but...
All right, hell, that's par.
Okay, so which firearms familiarity will you choose?
Now I'm getting the heavy weapons. Mortars, anti-tank rockets.
All right, so RPGs.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Now, if they achieve a commission but they have no degree, then in their next term they will undergo a tertiary term of science or humanities. They're still enlisted in the army, but they're doing a degree at a military college. They'll only do one tertiary term, the undergraduate. So if you had already had a degree, you would just get the commission and you'd go straight into telling people what to do.
Okay.
But you don't have a degree, so they send you off to do that. All right. Gaining a commission, also adds 1 to your social.
All right.
So you've gone from straight ones to 2, 2, 1, 2.
Nice.
In a social class, because you got the commission. Now, you don't have to do an achievement throw for tertiary. That was the commission. They make you finish the degree, one way or another. They make you finish the degree. So go back to the tertiary chart, previous page, page 8. Will you go for a humanities or a science degree?
Humanities. I'm going to study some history and moral philosophy.
All right. Throw 1d6 twice.
So I'm looking at a 3. I'm looking at another 3.
Okay, so interview. You got interview skill. You learned how to talk to people. Now, interview, the familiarities. Combat, done. Okay. Interview gains information from a person without giving any, as opposed to conversation. Okay, this is a real difference. I had this manager who was a former cop, and every time I sat down and had a chat with him, afterwards I walked away and I realized I had told him lots of stuff about myself, but he hadn't told me a single thing about himself. He hadn't given me any information at all. I'm
going to just let me interject right there. And I think we've talked about this. I'm pretty sure that I've told you about the video, but there's an infamous video out on the web called Never Talk to the Police. And It is a talk given to a university class in criminal justice. And it is an attorney and it's a police investigator. The attorney talks for 45 minutes. The police investigator talks for 45 minutes. And the attorney basically explains how the police do what your friend would do to you. Yeah. And why it's legal and why you should never talk to the police. Like, if you stub your toe on the sidewalk, just say, I'll wait till my solicitor gets here. Thank you. I mean, he did a quick exercise where he read off a headline, talked about 4 killings, just read, it was like 4 column inches of article. And at the end of it said, hands up, how many people were shot according to the article? Was it 1? Nobody raises their hands. Was it 2? Nobody raises their hands. Was it 3? A few people raises their hands. Was it 4? The majority raises their hands. And he says, put your hands down. I could have you all sent to jail. I didn't say anything about them being shot. I said they were killed. I didn't say they were shot. But he just kind of goes on to the difference between conversation and interrogation. It's a fascinating video. If you're out there, not right now while we're streaming, please, but do go look up Never Talk to the Police. And the police detective that comes on after him isn't like hostile or takes an opposing voice. We don't do that. He just nods along and says, yes, I will do this. if you ever commit a crime in my jurisdiction, here are a list of dirty tricks I plan on pulling on you. And don't think, aha, I'll remember these and then I won't fall for it. You won't remember them, you will fall for them. Anyway, let us continue.
Yeah, well, there's a journalistic familiarity as well. Because journalists do that too. They get information from somebody without giving any information themselves.
Right on.
Journalists do that too. You know, there's a wonderful bit in Yes, Prime Minister where they're talking about the Prime Minister and they say, we can't tell him that, then he will know things. He might be captured and interrogated. And the other guy says, what, by terrorists? No, by the BBC. You know,
By the BBC.
And it's true. A good journalist will get information out of the guy, whether they like it or not. So, so interview. You need to choose two familiarities of interview. There's the peace method, which is a method of police interview that's not confrontational. Kinesic method, which is a bit more confrontational. Journalistic, conversational mimic, interrogation, and psychological. Psychology.
You know,
it's your choice.
I'm going to go with interrogation and psychology.
Okay. Okay. So you've now got a BA, you've risen in one social class, and you also rise one in education. Because remember, level 2 education represents a tertiary education, which you've now got. So you've gone from straight ones to straight twos.
Be all that you can be.
Yeah. So another 4 years, of course. That's another 4 years of the degree. Black thing wasn't over there. That's stopping the poor people seeing the rules.
I'm sorry?
I said, I really wish you didn't have that black thing over there stopping people seeing the rules on the YouTube live stream.
Oh, sorry. Well, let me see if I can... There. That was just you. It'll take a minute to update.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, okay, so that's your term of service done. Do you wish to do another term? Because it's been 9 years. Because there was the 4 years of the first term, and then there was a year preparing for your commission, and then it was 4 years of degree.
Well, I tell you what, if I was setting out to make a guy for like a long-term campaign, I would say yes, but I kind of want to dive into the action and, you know what they say.
They'll eventually pick you out.
When the bullets start to fly, the politics go out the window.
You can go again. Or you can attempt to anyway. You get to add your number of terms of service and your rank. So you've done one term of service, 2 terms of service, counting the uni, and your rank, which is rank 1. So that would be +3. So, if you want to go into another term of service, they'll probably take you.
All right, what the hell? Let's do it. We're looking for another 10?
Yeah, so you've got, well, no, more than that, because the achievement, just to remain in the army, is 8+. But you've got +2 from your health. You've got +2 from your previous terms of service, so that's 4. And then you've got +1 from your rank of second lieutenant. So that's +5. So if you want to stay in, they'll very probably take you.
All right, I rolled a 5.
Roll a 5, yeah. They'll take you for another term.
All
Based
right.
on the general entry table.
General entry, let's see. And I'm rolling on that, right?
Yep.
I got a 5. Firearms.
Yep, so it doesn't matter what you choose. When you get a third firearms familiarity, you now have the expertise of firearms.
All right.
So instead of having a +1 with each of those, with the things that are listed, you have a +3 with everything.
Nice. So I will take, let me see. Firearms. Machine gun.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you take. So you take machine gun, you know, but since you've got you've got RPGs and machine gun, you don't have to take a special course on handguns. You don't have to take a special course on rifles. You figure them out, right? Because you've got so much experience with so many different kinds of firearms. The other stuff is just obvious to you. So those 2 familiarities become 3 familiarities, and then they resolve into 1 expertise, which you have +3 at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the guy who drives a motorbike and drives his car, and then he learns how to drive a truck. If he comes across having to drive like a semi or something like that, he's not going to have a problem with it. Or he drives a quad bike, he's not going to have a problem with it. He's going to be good at it. And he's going to be better at it than the guy who only does the quad bike or only does the semi, whatever. Does that make sense?
Right on.
Okay, and a second one, a second familiarity.
Oh, let's see. It's like being at a salad bar, man. There's so much cool stuff to choose.
Well, you just roll 1d6, so...
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. All right. I have firearms again.
Yeah, re-roll.
Physician. The hell?
First aid, so that'll be first aid.
All right.
Something finally clicks and you get your first aid.
I took that 6-month course at Benning, and now I can blow them full of holes and stuff them full of gauze.
But you do have first aid.
All right.
Okay, so are you going to attempt a promotion? Are you going to try to go from second lieutenant to first lieutenant?
This is like an adventure unto itself. Yeah, I'm going to try for promotion.
It'll take another year because you've been in 13 years already. So if you try for a promotion, it'll come up to 14, whether you succeed or not.
Let's see if
commission. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So I said, yeah, you've been in 13 years already. Attempting a promotion will take another year, whether you succeed or not. You spend a year studying and sucking up and traveling around and doing lots of little courses to try to improve your prospects and so on. You need, for a promotion, you need a 12 plus. You get to add your health and your social to it, but you also get to add your number of completed terms, which is now 3. So your health and social are both 2, so that's +2, +4, and then your number of terms +3, so that would be +7.
Well, I rolled a 7, so I got it.
Yeah. So that make you a full lieutenant. So you get another skill.
All right. Let's see. Oh, let me grab the book. Another skill.
You roll.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry. 6. Observation.
Observation. The usual observation to take is tactical. You know where ambushes and things are coming from. But there are other kinds as well.
So does that entail like forward observer for indirect fire?
Oh, it could do, I guess. Could do. Find it. Observation. Okay, so watching and noticing details, particularly tactical ones, like where security cameras are, the proper place for an ambush, etc. Actively using this expertise slows movement. Familiarities. Tactical, persons, animal behavior, forensic, photography, and navigation. Navigation is a kind of observation.
Right.
You can be a lieutenant and actually knows how to navigate. The quote example that I give is from Jason Bourne. I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6 cars outside. I can tell you that our waitress is left-handed and the guy sitting up at the counter weighs 215 pounds and knows how to handle himself. I know the best place to look for a gun is the cab of the grey truck outside, and at this altitude I can run flat out for half a mile before my hands start shaking. That's his observation skills.
Nice.
Also search and endurance expertise, but yeah. But he's Jason Bourne, so he doesn't have familiarities, he just has expertise. So yeah, which one do you choose? Tactical, persons, animal behavior, forensic, photography, or navigation?
I like persons.
Okay.
That Jason Bourne line there kind of give me a thrill. I like that.
All right. So, yeah, that's what you got when you got promoted full lieutenant. Will you go for a 4th term?
Yeah, what the hell?
Okay. Well, they'll almost certainly take you because you now got like +8, so roll.
I rolled a 10 total.
10, great. Yep, so they'll take you. So you get to roll another 2 familiarities.
Landcraft and endurance strength. Choose.
Yeah, so you choose one of endurance or strength. So, the combat rules. Not yet. Okay, so endurance, being able to keep going when others would collapse.
Yeah, endurance.
Okay. So, familiarities: hiking, running, swimming, rowing, cycling, and night shift. So you're doing hiking, running, swimming, cycling, rowing, or night shift.
All right.
All those except rowing and cycling, I think, are relevant to military, but maybe as a hobby.
I would say hiking.
Okay. Endurance.
And so it went into the night until Bill's character finished as a brigadier general. The end.
Well, there's always a chance of rolling 1-1, and then you get chucked out.
Yeah.
Endurance and what was the other one you rolled? Landcraft.
Right.
So that's driving. Okay, familiarities: horse, camel, motorcycle, auto, large rigid, or large combination. Auto for automobile rather than automatic.
Yeah, I'm going to take auto.
Anyone can drive it. Yep.
All right. So yeah, I can drive a Humvee or an MRAP or what have you, right?
The normal automobile. Yeah, well, that's probably, a Hummer's probably large, rigid. But anyway.
All right, well.
But anyone can drive at +0. You don't necessarily want to drive with them, but anyone can drive at +0. Okay. So, You've now been 18 years in the army, so you'll be 36 years old. Once you hit 40, you're going to start aging. So,
yeah, let's get some adventuring in. I think I'm gonna resign my commission.
okay. Do one last roll, because if you roll 6-6, they keep you in whether you like it or not.
I'm sorry, if I roll a 6-6, what?
They keep you in whether you like it or not.
I got a 9.
Yeah, you're all right. They'll let you go.
Huh.
Reluctantly, but they let you go. All right, what's this guy's name?
Oh, let's see. Let me think here. Something good. John Walters.
Okay, Lieutenant John Walters. And I'll just... share that screen so people can see the result.
Trying to see
Like that one. I'll go back to the rules set. Oh no, there it is.
Nope.
You got it now. So he's quite a well-skilled fellow. A well-skilled and competent fellow. 18 years in the army, expert with firearms. He'll now have English expertise as well from his degree.
Nice.
He can handle the technical stuff now. He couldn't when he started, but after his education, he was fine. Lieutenant John Walters, background in hunting. He learned to punch. He learned to interview people. He learned to patch them up. He learned to observe people. He learned hiking, and he learned how to drive. And he got a Bachelor of Arts.
You know, I think for a future supplement for conflict, like if you had a few more skills, knife hand should definitely be like a sub-skill of psychology.
Well, that's leadership. That's leadership.
Yes. That's okay. That's under leadership. All right. See, yeah.
Yeah. Or possibly intimidation.
All right.
So,
I just have to interject. There's a first-person shooter that's actually used in a lot of Army simulation called Arma, and you can actually, in the game, if you are scripting your own scenarios, you can have a computer-controlled character model give briefings to the players, and they do like knife hand and pointing at the map, the horizontal like devil horns, pinky and forefinger point, and that sort of thing. And I showed my wife.
In Commonwealth armies, the pointing is with a pencil.
Yes, there's that too. There's that too. I showed my wife, who works as a civilian employee for the United States Army, and she works around a lot of uniformed people and goes to a lot of meetings and so on. And she just stared, just blank face for a second, and said, "They all do that, Bill." They didn't just make it up for the video game. They do like the double knife hand gesture at things in PowerPoint presentations. They do like the devil horns point, the pencil wag that you just did. It's all real. All right. So, moving along.
Yeah, it's all weird. So that's presence or familiarity with either leadership or intimidation. Depending on your viewpoint, does a knife hand intimidate you? Perhaps if it's a drill sergeant or something. I'm not sure if drill sergeants have leadership or if they have intimidation, but
right.
Either works. Or they might have sharp dress, because everything's ironed. No train track creases and all that sort of, Depends on your point of view. They might just have it all, actually. But, all right. So, the lieutenant who never got leadership, so he just has to say, listen to me because I'm a lieutenant.
Yes. Listen up, you primitive screwhead.
There's plenty of them. Well, yeah, he did well for himself. Successful little career there. Okay, and he gets out of the military. Now, we'll just do a couple of little example things. Nothing will be lethal. Just little example things to show how the combat system and stuff works.
Excellent.
Okay. So Walters is on the way out. Now, when he's on the way out, when you leave the base, you're one of the guys who goes straight into the civvies, into the civilian clothing, when he leaves the base? Or are you the guy who proudly wears his uniform with all the ribbons on it and, on his last day, on his way out?
I'll wear my ASUs out, I'll change into the civvies tomorrow.
Okay. So you're on the way out. All right. So a little way outside the base is a little town and has a diner. It's going to be a couple of hours before the bus comes. You didn't make the payments on your on the sports car that you bought, so they repossessed it. And so you're having to take the bus back home to your family, and you go into the diner. Observation persons. You don't need to make a throw for this. You can just see the sort of people that are in the diner. Kind of an ethnic mix. You've got your white redneck types. You've got your Hispanic types who work in the local farms and so on. It's quite a working class kind of place. You've gone there instinctively because that's your background, even though you're used to posher places now. But it's next to a military base, so there aren't really any posher places around anyway. So you go in there to have a meal while you're waiting. And you see that mix of people. Okay. Make a observation persons check.
All right.
So roll 2D and then add 1.
2D and add 1.
If you're familiar.
Boxcars, 13.
Okay, excellent. All right. You spot over on the other side of the diner, there's a couple of guys. There's one Hispanic guy and one white guy, obviously quite working class. Probably work on one of the local local ranches or farms or something. And these two guys giving you kind of dirty looks. And you know that look, even without, psychology and all the rest, military guys have experienced that before. There's that kind of civilian guy who gives you the dirty looks and thinks, you think you're better than us, and, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're giving them that look, and they're looking a bit hostile, and you think they might be working themselves up to, if not approach you, at least say something nasty as they go past to the toilet or something.
All right. Does this diner serve alcohol? Not just beer, but booze?
No, it just has beer.
Okay. That's fine.
It used to have booze. But the MPs came and asked them nicely to stop.
All right.
Because it's like the first diner outside the base.
Sure.
And there used to be a lot of grunts come in and tear the place up. Yeah, so it's just got like light beers. You got some Coors there,
Well, I'm gonna order corned beef on rye and a big bottle of Tabasco sauce, please.
Okay. Yep. They bring that to you. So the guys are sitting there down in their cores, which kind of surprises you because it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, but they're just those kind of guys.
Right.
All right. Time passes, you munch through your sandwich with heaps of Tabasco sauce on it. And then one of the guys says to the others, I got to go drain the lizard. And gets out from behind the table and shifts his belt around his belly, adjusts his cap, and he strolls past. And as he goes past, he kind of reaches out to the bottle of Tabasco sauce and whacks it over so that it spills all over the table in front of you and splashes your uniform a little bit and says, "Whoops." And he pauses a little moment to see if you react or if he's just going to walk on by.
I stand up, dab my ASU front off with the napkin, and tell him, "Well, son, it looks like you and I made a little mess on the counter here. Why don't you help me clean it up before you leave?"
All right. Okay, so we want a reaction throw. So I'm just going to share the screen of the rules. Share the screen of the rules. Now, a reaction throw. This comes at the beginning of the combat section. So the combat section begins with the reaction throw.
Combat section? Kyle, I don't know what you think is about to happen, but...
Well, it may or may not be. Okay, so there's an aggression throw. Before combat occurs, combats must decide whether to fight at all. Aggression throws are not necessary for ordinary encounters, only for those which might reasonably be expected to have a risk of being hostile. This is such an encounter. The aggression throw is, in this sense, is how willing the person is to do or suffer harm to get what they want.
All right.
Some encounters will inevitably lead to combat, others need not do so. The referee may throw 2d6 for the initial aggression level of the group or individual encountered. This will be adjusted by circumstance, where each of the following be a DM +1. Readiness. Okay, the people who are more ready are more willing to do and suffer harm. That's part of readiness. Presence or leadership. Too bad you didn't get that. Group size. There's courage in company. Lethal weapons. The possession of these escalates the situation. If one of you has a firearm, you're more likely to be willing to start a fight. Home ground. Being here makes people overconfident. Someone who's identifiably enemy, like in a uniform or in a different uniform. Drug use, like say alcohol. And relationships, if they have a previous relationship with you or a relationship with those in their group. Okay. So there's their readiness, which is just an ordinary +1.
Right.
The working class, they get calls and stuff from time to time. They have no presence or leadership. There is a small group. There's 2 guys, you're 1, so we'll make that another +1. That's +2. Lethal weapons. You do not know if they have them or not, but this guy at least is not carrying a firearm. He make a psychology check or an observation person's check.
All right.
86, add 1.
I got a total of 7.
7, yeah. You're not sure. He may be the sort of guy who like carries a knife in his boot or something, but you're not sure. You know, you look him up and down to try to assess that, and you're not sure. Identifiably enemy. Well, to them, you are the enemy. That's another one. That's +3. Drug use. He's got a disinhibitor, a form of alcohol, so that makes it to +4. And then that's it. Okay. You want to roll 2d6 and add 4.
Sure. Now, this is my reaction, or this is their reaction to me?
This is their reaction. I'm just letting you roll for it.
I just wanted to make sure. So I'm rolling on the.
You can do what you want. Your reaction, you can. The possible things: submit, flight, talk, posture, or fight.
All right.
It's entirely up to the player what the player does. But the NPCs, they react according to the dice.
All right, so I got a 4.
Okay, that adds 4. So talk. Negotiation is always possible, from a mugging victim giving up their wallet to the white flag of truce for a ceasefire to retrieve the dead and wounded. Okay, with a 6, the talk begins with their being cautious or deferential. 7 is neutral, and 8 is aggressive. We've got an 8. So he's still talking. So he says to you, by the way, I'm talking all this out, guys, to show how the system works. You wouldn't necessarily do that in a regular game session.
Sure.
Okay. So he says, sure, man, we could clean it up with your face.
All right. Is there like a waitress's station nearby that's got like, some counter cleaner and a rag on?
Yes.
I'm just going to reach over and pick it up and say, well, son, that's a pretty bold statement, but considering the mess and the time of day, lunch hour is about to start, don't you think we should start with the easy stuff? And I give him a shot in the eye of counter cleaner.
Good. So roll for surprise. Okay. You're trying to surprise this guy.
I'm going for a Clint Eastwood and Heartbreak Ridge vibe here.
Okay, surprise. So all combats are either an ambush or a stand-up fight. If one combatant waits an ambush for the other 3, 1d6 adding readiness and find the difference, if any, the winner has that many actions without the other reacting, except that after the first action, they may drop to crouch or prone. Okay, surprise, attacker. Readiness of the leader. That's +2.
All right. 8 total. Whoa. Kyle, you there? We have lost Kyle. You hearing us, Kyle? We still got our network connection. We have lost Kyle Schuant. I just went full gunny highway on this guy. Let me make sure I didn't show all participants. There he is. Waiting on Kyle to join. Half tick, folks. I think that may have been Kyle messaging me on the handset there. Hold on.
Okay.
Ah, there you are. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Discord just died. Yeah. So we were just rolling for surprise. Did you get?
I got a total of, I don't remember, 7.
7. Okay. Right. So and he got 5. So yeah, you get 2 actions. So you zap him. What's your second action going to be?
Zapping his friend.
Well, his friend's on the. His friend hasn't approached yet. His friend's still sitting down on the other side.
I'm gonna grab him by the scruff of the neck and say, geez, I'm sorry, son. That my last KP.
Okay, so you're gonna do a spritz and then a grapple.
A spritz and a grab, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, son.
My last KP
was months ago.
We will be generous and call the spritzer a kind of firearm. It's got a trigger and it squirts something. I don't know. Anyway, So what kind of, and the second one will be a grapple attack. Okay, so you get +3 to spritz it. Now, all right. Normally, so spritzing him. Okay, so down at looking at the modifier chart on page 33. Not being on fire, you're not on fire. So, sorry, not on fire, I mean not in combat, but you are under threat, so you don't get a bonus for that. You've got an expertise, so that's +3. You don't have a spotter, you didn't aim, it's not supported or scoped or anything like that. Handgun one-handed does not apply because that's about recoil and the spritzer doesn't have any recoil. You're not doing auto fire, the visibility is not an issue. Ranges up to 6 meters, yeah, he's close. All right, so you need a 10+ to hit and you've got +3. Oh, sorry, you're aiming at his face. So that's -4, so that's actually a -1.
All right, I rolled a total of 9.
-1. Oh, you just miss him. So you go to squirt and he reflexively pulls his head back and it doesn't quite get in him. Okay, so now you try to grab him by the scruff of the neck. So you try a grapple. Trying a grapple, you've got brawling, but you've got punching. You don't have grappling.
Okay. So
that's a +0. And you're trying for the scruff of the neck. So that's a -4 because you're targeting a place. So you need a 10+ roll while rolling -4. Or you could just grapple someone randomly. And then it would just be a 10+ without any minus or bonus.
Okay.
Which will you do?
So I can't effectively grab him by the scruff of the neck if I need a 10+ on 2d6 and I'm at -4.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. You can't.
All right.
Like if you've got nothing else to help you, just in the midst of a combat, an unskilled person isn't going to be able to target.
I'll just grab him, and I got a 10.
A 10. Okay, so you grab him. All right. Now for the grappling effect. Okay, so you roll a wounding location. So we go down to page 38. Looking for wounds. Roll D6 and D6, which you'll read as like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, etc.
6 and 2.
6 and 2. So you reach to grapple him on the neck and you reach down and you grab him by the leg. Okay? Get an incapacitating wound. Now, with brawling and grappling, sorry, my
2D or 1D on grappling?
Say again?
I'm sorry. Did you say to roll a grappling?
Oh, yeah. So incapacitating, it basically means that you're holding on to the guy.
All right.
Okay, and he can try to break free each turn. He needs 10+ to break free, but you're grabbing his leg. That'll inhibit his mobility, but it won't stop him punching you or whatever if he wants to. Okay, so now we go for initiative. Right. It's much easier when I flick through a book, but the PDF version is the most up to date.
Sure.
See, this is much easier. That's why we have this little 48-page booklet. Okay. Now we go to initiative. With the surprise being over. Initiative is a simple test of 1d6 plus readiness plus leadership of the leader of each group. There's no one else, and yeah. So it's just 1d6 plus readiness. My guy gets 7. You get
7.
7. Okay. So normally, so simultaneous. Melee and brawling combat ties are resolved in reverse order of weapon size. Both of you using the same weapon. Okay. So probably have to resolve it, and readiness goes first. So you'll go first. You get 2 actions because you've got readiness 2.
So
but remember, you're inhibited. If you want to hold on to the grapple, then you've only got the other hand to use.
I'm picturing that basically I reached down and I grabbed this guy like by the belt buckle. That's as close to his leg without me dipping down as I could get. So hoping I can throw him off balance, I'm going to hold on to the belt.
You can try to sweep him.
Huh?
You can try to sweep him and you'll have a bonus because you've already got a grapple on him.
Yeah. Basically, I'm going to drop the spray bottle and take him face first into the Tabasco he spilled on the table.
Okay. So you're going to use the table as a weapon? Because you can use the table as a weapon. As like you get +1 if you basically like, want to slam a door into somebody's face or that sort of thing.
I like
what I mean?
Yes.
You can slam into it. All right. So that's an improvised weapon. You don't have the multiplier weapon skill, but it is improvised nonetheless. And you get a +1 for using that weapon because it's sort of hard to miss somebody with a table. It's just a matter of how hard they hit. So you slam him into the table. So you get a +1 for the table and you get a +2 for the fact that you've grappled him. So roll with a +3. You need 10 plus.
6 plus. You got a 4 plus 3 is 7.
4 plus 3 is 7. 7. Okay, yeah. So you roll. So you push him towards the table, but it's not enough to actually injure him. But you've got a second action. Remember, you've got 2 actions. Just dropping the thing wasn't an action. You can drop things for free. Picking them up is an action, but just dropping them isn't.
All right.
You tried it again. You just slam him again.
Sure. What do I need to what I need to slam him in?
Same again. You need 10 plus, and you've got a +4.
All right. And I've got a +4, you say?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a total of 12.
Total of 12. Okay. That will inflict an injury on him.
You get a nice roll for the Tabasco.
Might be. Roll for it.
All right. So let's see. I got a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his arm.
Yeah, and the second one?
And a 2.
2. Okay. So you slam him down onto the table, and he reaches out his left arm to try to stop himself, and it twists around. He's like, dislocated my shoulder. You didn't hear a pop. You don't think he dislocated his shoulder. He's being a bit of a drama queen.
All right.
But yeah, so he's got a wound on his left arm.
All right.
Okay. His action this turn is he's going to try to break free. And he gets a 9, but he's got some strength familiarity. You can see when you slam him down, there's a muscles back. He obviously lifts a bit or does some push-ups, or used to. So he just breaks free. He pushes you off his belt buckle. So next round, initiative. In the background, you see movement. It's probably his mate getting up to come and help him. And you also see movement of other people getting out of the way, picking up their sandwiches and moving to another table.
Yeah. And I got.
They don't seem overly surprised that there's a brawl happening in this diner, but they still don't want to be in the way. So it's just a D6 plus your readiness.
All right, so I got a 7 again.
And he got a 6. So you go first. 2 actions. Nominate both the actions. What are you going to do this time?
So let me see here. So I've got the boxing, not the grappling. As much fun as it would be to grab the guy's hand and milk a duck on him, I'm feeling like I'm going to have to do something a little bit more brutal. How about the sugar jar to the back of his noggin?
Well, he's facing you, so
How
it's hard
about
to
the
hit him in the
sugar
back.
jar to his face?
Okay, so yeah, that will give you a +1 to hit, having something hard in your hand, but you don't have the skill, so that would just be +1. It wouldn't be any more damaging than simply punching him would, in your case, because you've got the punching skill or familiarity. Of course, after that, you might have a bit of broken glass, and then the next round might be more deadly.
Right. All right. So I rolled a total of 8.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you miss him, and what's your second action? Remember, you got to nominate 2 actions.
I'll just follow it up with an elbow smash to the bridge of his nose.
Okay, so you just do a regular punch. Go for it.
That's better. I got a total of 10.
Okay, so you hit him. Roll for the wound. So yeah, you don't have. I'll ignore it this time, but normally you don't have to nominate a target. You just punch whatever target presents itself. Because remember, combat round's about a minute.
Sure.
There's back and forth. So yeah, you punch whatever target presents itself. If you say, I'm going to punch him in the head or I'm going to punch him in the guts or whatever, that's a -4.
Right. Gotcha.
But if you do hit, of course, he's more likely to go down. He's more likely to go down if you hit him in the head than if you hit him in the some random spot.
All right. So let's see here.
Okay, so you hit him. Roll d6, d6.
All right. D6. So that's a 5 and a 3.
5 and a 3. Okay. So you punch him in the right leg. Must have been going for a groin punch. You hit him in the right leg, and you do a wound. So he's now wounded in his left arm and his right leg. Blunt wound, so he's not going to bleed out or whatever. Not unless it's a really serious one. But yeah, so he's a bit bashed up now. Okay. Now it's his turn to respond. He's not going to be feeling the best, and you see his mate coming up behind him. So he'll join the 2 of you in the next round.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So this guy's going to take a swing at you. Whoa! That hits anyway.
Oof.
6-3. Okay. He punches you in the left leg. He was obviously going for a groin punch as well. You guys, him below the belt, I don't know, man. This is... You guys are vicious.
If Mario Van Peebles shows up, man, all bets are off the table.
All right, next turn. You see his buddy has come in. His buddy is holding a diner tray in his hand with the plates on it. He's holding this. He's going to fling that at you. Yeah, so initiative. I get 6.
I got 6 also.
Okay. The tied initiative. Okay. Melee and brawl and combat ties are resolved in reverse order of weapon size. Smallest weapon goes first. You've just got your fist. He's got his diner tray, so you go first.
I am going to attempt to haul him up and hold him in the way for when that diner tray swings at us.
Oh, the wounded guy. Okay, so you're going to try a grapple.
Right.
What's your second action? You could just go for a second grapple in case the first one doesn't work.
Okay. Hit or...
Or you grab an arm and you grab the other arm.
Yeah, hit or not, I'm just going to shove him backwards and try to push him back into his buddy so they both hit the floor.
That's a sweep. That's a sweep. You try to knock him down.
Right.
Push him back.
All right,
okay.
So grapple first.
Yep.
Got a 12.
Yeah. And roll for the location.
3 and 3. So right arm.
Right arm. So you grab him on his good arm. 3 and 3. That's a wounded result, which in the case of grapple just means that like you've just grabbed a sleeve or something like that. So he'll be a -2 to act because you're inhibiting, but it's not a firm hold. But you can still try to sweep him. You can still try to push him because you'll still have a bone this turn, but you won't. He will automatically break free next turn without even using an action.
All right. I will try and sweep by way of throwing him into his buddy who's coming at me with a tray.
Okay. We'll try a sweep first. That's 10 plus. To push him towards his actual buddy is 12 plus.
I made the sweep.
Yeah. What'd you get?
I got a
So
10
you got 10
on
or
the
11.
sweep.
Okay. Right. So you push the guy down. He falls down. All right. Now there are things for him to fall into. There's the hard ground, there's the soft diner chairs, and then there's the hard diner tables. So when he falls down, he'll fall into a random one of those. On a 1 to 2, he will fall onto the hard ground. On a 3 to 4, into the soft chair, and on a 5 to 6, into the hard tables. Roll the dice. Roll 1d6.
4.
4. Okay, so he goes into the soft chair. So he won't be injured from falling down. So he falls down onto the diner table. And you now you've cleared a space nicely for the guy to swing at you with his diner tray.
Damn.
7, but he misses you. So he swings the diner tray and plates and forks and stuff go flying off it across the area. And the diner tray goes flinging out of his hand because he was just going to let go of it straight away. Flinging out of his hand, it goes clank against the window, and then it drops down onto the guy who's lying on the diner seat now.
Ha.
So this is the second one. This is the Hispanic one. He's got a bit of a mean look in his eye. He's been out in the sun for a long time, and he's got a bit of a headache. He's not feeling happy. So you think the first one was just stupid, but the second one is mean. His buddy was mean. And he says, Hector will fuck you up, army boy.
All right.
Next round. Initiative.
Well, initiative.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they're going to go first.
Yeah. Hector's action is to fuck you up.
All right.
The other guy's action is to get up. That's it. They only have one action each. And they got ready this one.
All right. So he's taking a shot at me.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll take a shot at you. He's going first. Yep. So, boom. No, that's not going to fuck you up. He misses you. He takes a swing, but you easily sidestep it.
All right. I am going to grab a tureen of coffee and throw it in his face.
Okay. All right, so improvised weapon once again.
And I know that's a targeted shot. I get that.
Yeah, so you get +1 to hit and -3. You won't be able to get him because you need 10 plus.
Okay. Well, I'll just try and scald him.
Yeah, you could just hit him with it, or you could just fling, because it's hot coffee.
Yeah.
That's a noxious substance. You burn the poor guy. You can just fling coffee at him and just get him where you get him.
All right. So I rolled an 11.
Oh. Yep. Okay. Roll to hit.
It's a head hit, Kyle. 1,
Yeah.
6.
1, 6. Okay, so that's a word. So you fling hot coffee in his face, and he goes, "Ah."
That's what I've always loved about this place.
It was really hot coffee.
That's what I've always loved about this place, boys.
And he does it. He snorts some as well. Have you ever accidentally snorted coffee?
Good strong
I've
coffee
I've
here.
only done it in reverse when I was laughing while I was having a hot coffee. I've done it in reverse. So it goes up into his sinus and so it's a wound. He's at -2 to whatever he does next turn. All right. So and the other guy gets up. All right, another turn. You hear these calls from the wait staff and all the rest. Stop, stop, stop. But these guys aren't listening, and everyone else is just staying out of the way. They're already in a 0, staying out of the way.
Sure. Let's see. I think this guy needs a cup too.
Okay. All right, next turn. Remember, you got 2 actions.
All
the coffee's gone. You know, you had the big thing of coffee and you flung it all on Hector.
All right, so.
But yeah, you've still got the glass thing though.
Yeah. I don't want to risk severing an artery or anything like that on the guy, so I'm just gonna.
Well, you've got first aid. You can always fix it.
Oh, that's true. I'm just gonna punch him.
Okay. So you drop the. Are you going to drop it, or are you going to hold it? Just continue holding it in that hand.
No, I'm going to set it down on the table. But I'm going to keep me between it and him.
Put it down gently. Okay.
I look at the waitress.
It's only one of those glass coffee kettle things.
Yeah. That
sits on a hot plate. Yeah. So you set it down. That'll take an action to set it down gently. If you just dropped it, it doesn't take any actions. So it leaves you 1 action to punch him.
I look at the waitress. Hopefully, the conversation's not an action, is it?
No.
Okay. Is that decaf?
She doesn't respond.
Oh.
She doesn't respond. You just see it glancing around, obviously going, shit, I'm going to have to clean all this up later.
All right.
All right.
I just look at the guy and say, I hate decaf coffee, and take a swing at him. Let's see. I got a total of 8.
So you miss him.
All right.
Okay, Hector and his buddy Barry both going to go at you this round. It's a bit close in here. Because there's just that little space between, the diner tables and the bar.
Oh yeah.
And the 3 of you are brawling all in that space, so nobody can get past you. Okay, so they have a go. Whoa! One hits. Right. One hit. You can see by the way they're swinging, they are not skilled in boxing or anything like that. They're just using their default ability. They saw on TV to do this big.
Right.
They're enthusiastic, but they're not skilled at fighting. But Barry's obviously strong, and so Barry hits you. 6 and 5. That's a left leg. You get another injury on your left leg.
All right.
Another wound on your left leg. That's where it was before, wasn't it?
Okay.
Okay. And then you hear the waitress calling out, I've called the sheriff and the MPs. And Hector and Barry kind of glance at each other. And so their actions this round are going to be to back off.
All right. I'm going to look at him in this round and I'm going to say, get a fucking mop, SA. We've got a mess to clean up. Unless you want to spend a night in a holding cell, I recommend you start helping.
All right. Okay, so the combat has ended if you want it to.
Yes.
They were disengaged. Yeah, so they're backing off, and then they just go out the other door, and they jump in a pickup truck, and they piss off.
I pull 320s out of my wallet and put them on the counter and say, "I'm sorry for the mess," and just start cleaning up.
All right, you help clean up. All right, about 5 minutes later, who arrives first? The sheriff arrives first, and he pulls out. There's a young guy. He comes out with his truncheon already ready, and he looks around to see if the brawl is still happening before he goes in. And he sees it's not happening, so then he comes in. He's got his khaki shirt, his big six-pointed star badge and all the rest. And he says, well, he glances over and says, Doris, what's happened here? And he looks you up and down, and he looks around at the coffee on the ground and the trays and everything, and you and Doris sweeping up. And she tells him, we had a couple of boys here who were a bit unhappy with the army boys. And they got it on. They've gone now. That was Hector and Barry. And the sheriff says, oh, those arseholes. So you get the impression that it's not the first time he's heard their names in connection with some brawls and trouble on it.
Yeah, just a couple of townies that should have been put over their daddy's knee a few times.
Yeah. And he says, what about you then, sir? What have you got to say for yourself?
Oh, hell. And I keep mopping and sweeping and, putting broken dishes in the bus boys tray. Ah, hell, I was just trying to instruct those boys in the good manners of bussing your own table.
A couple minutes later,
and I wink at her.
A couple of minutes later, the MPs show up.
I recognize
them. And, you recognize them, and they say, well, sir, there's a hell of a way to finish your time.
Just a couple of local hotheads was all. You know how it is with townies.
Yeah, we don't usually see officers getting into brawls with townies, though.
Yeah.
They seem a bit unimpressed by you. It's sort of not really officerly conduct. Yeah. But then again, you never did, those leadership lessons never did stick with you, so.
Yeah. So like I said, I slipped her like $40 or $60 or something like that and finished cleaning up and look at the waitress. Is that going to cover it?
That'll cover it, sir, yes.
All right.
That'll cover it. So you spend some time cleaning up, and then you get on the bus in your wet uniform with the Tabasco sauce and bits of coffee on it. You limp on with your bashed up leg.
You'll have to get a doctor on my way out to clean up my mop up my ASU.
And your leg's a bit bashed up. You'll need a doctor to have a look at that in the next day or two. Lest because even a WA condition, a simple wound, can degrade to an incapacitated.
Sure.
If it's left alone. That sort of the wound just gets worse, or it gets infected, or that muscle pull that you didn't look after, you didn't ice and bind properly or whatever, just gets worse. And that can even decline further to a killed in action wound, a KIA wound, if you leave it for long enough and don't look after it.
Well, I'll
but if you get a doctor
at the clinic before I leave town.
Okay. Right, they give you some painkillers, anti-inflammatories, and they bind up your leg and tell you to stop getting into brawls.
All right. I tell embarrassing and terribly dirty jokes to the charge nurse while she's doctoring up my leg.
Well, lucky for you, you're at a clinic outside an army base, so nobody reports you for sexual harassment because that's just another day for them.
Right.
If you were up in upstate New York or something, then you might be in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
But you've got psychology, so you know what shit you can get away with each individual.
Right, right. I can't, for example, here in the United States, for any of our international listeners, we can't just casually drop the C word in a conversation. That's like record scratch, glass breaks, dogs barking in the distance here on this side of the planet, whereas I believe it's used as a comma down in Australia.
Yes.
My character won't be using that particular bit of slang.
Yeah. Plus, I've just got this mental picture of you down the south. You know, you're in like northwest Texas or somewhere like that. Like base there. Somewhere like that. So that they won't take well to it. They got a bit better manners there than up north.
Yeah.
From my travels.
Well, I dig it. Like I said, it's getting that Heartbreak Ridge vibe from it, and I'm loving it, man.
Yeah, well, there was that brawl. I thought just a non-lethal example of combat would be appropriate.
Well,
or less likely to be lethal anyway.
I think, assuming that I can overcome the technical issues, like if the audience wants, if you want, the next time we play Conflict, let's ratchet it up a little bit, get into a little Black Hawk Down or something like that. You know, let the bullets fly. Yeah, well, my original idea was, if you didn't get into the brawl in the diner, there was going to be some sort of house clearing type exercise, even if it's just a training exercise or something like that. Right.
A training exercise, so you have you guys go through it, and they've got paintballs or lasers or whatever that register a particular kind of wound and all the rest. A simulated thing, even if it wasn't for real.
Well,
to give you the idea.
The diner brawl was funner, and I think our viewers and listeners will agree with us.
Yeah, for the like a house clearing or whatever, we'd have to have a nice clear shared screen so they could see plans, just to make it clear what's going on.
Yeah, and we have a.
But anyway, that gives you an idea of the system. That the way the character creation works and the way the combat works, and thinking outside combat, you just apply the expertises and familiarities, the skills, as appropriate, or don't bother, just role play it out.
Well, I will say, as a playtester here, I was pleasantly surprised by the options for having fun, as opposed to, no, you're belly down in Bosnia, and you got RPG rounds flying overhead and T-72s roaring by. No, it was a very fun, cinematically cool scene, and I like that a lot.
Well, it's cinematic, but it's realistic cinematic. Because if guys are in some sort of hand-to-hand combat, they have to try pretty hard to kill each other.
Yeah, and my character was not going to go stand tall before the man for a couple of idiots in a diner. That's for sure.
Yeah. If you really want to, you can always make things more lethal. You can. There's always hard metal objects to smash into people. Like if you'd got the bottle or something, smash it on them one time, one round, and then the next round stab them with it. Hey, there's a chance of killing people. But if you're just punching on that, there's always a chance of it. With the blunt weapons like fists, a KIA result just knocks them out automatically.
Right.
An incapacitated result may knock them out, probably will knock them out, but a KIA result, they're automatically knocked out. They have to be attended to, but that's not going to kill them. If they get a second KIA result, then yes, that acts as a regular one. And so that's why you get, like in Melbourne, there was a big fuss for a while about, they call them the king hit punch attacks, where somebody just gets whacked on the back of the head from behind with a fist, and knocks them down. And people talked about that killing people. And it was very rarely that blow that killed the guy. It was usually that the guy then fell down and struck his head a second time on the pavement or on a metal post box or a car or something like that on the way down. It was that second blow that did it for him. Or while he was down, half a dozen guys gathered around and kicked him to death, you know.
Right.
But that single punch was rarely killing him. And of course, it's very different once you involve knives and firearms.
Right.
It's very different, which is why so many places regulate them or regulate how you can use them. And it's why soldiers carry them.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just hurt and inconvenience the enemy. You want to kill the bastard.
Now, someone who is not me once knew a fellow who is also not me, who in his younger days was known to carry a lead slapper in the back of his baseball cap that he constantly wore. You know, give somebody a little tap on the noggin. And I'm certainly glad that fellow never had to use it, because that was probably a good quarter pound of lead and would have wound that fellow up in jail.
Well, in this system, that would just give you a +1 to hit. +1 to hit with your brawling or whatever.
Right.
And that's pretty useful because, like, if you have somebody with boxing skill, they've got +1 to hit. Someone without boxing skill has got nothing, but then they add the improvised weapon and it becomes equal.
Right. Well, that's
like fighting a middleweight boxer. Now, a heavyweight boxer is probably going to have a strength expertise as well. That guy's a big, strong guy. Strength adds to your melee attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So if he just has powerlifting or something, he adds +1. If he has all the strength ones, bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, everything, that's +3. So then it becomes a +1 or a +3 to hit, even with nothing. So your Mike Tyson or whatever, he's got his boxing, but he's also got strength. So that becomes like +1, +4 to hit you. He's much more likely to hit you. Whereas if you just got the regular guy in the street, maybe he has boxing or kickboxing or something like that with +2, that's a +1. You know, having some sort of equalizer, some sort of weapon, that makes a difference. And the +1 on a 2d6 is significant. You know, it means that you need to roll 9 instead of 10. So it takes it from being a 6 in 36 chance of hitting to a 10 in 36 chance of hitting. And that's quite an improvement.
Right.
And then, of course, you roll for the location and you may or may not down them, depending on where you hit and what happens.
Well, it's a fascinating
system. Does that make sense? That seems reasonable?
And I am looking forward to something a little bit more range, a little bit more reach out and touch someone kind of combat the next time we play it. So what do you want to do? What do you want to put on the agenda for the next one? Do you want to hop back into the Caves of Chaos and we'll jump back to conflict, or what do you want? You're the co-host, man. You have just as much input as I do.
We'll put it to our audience. The 3 options: just talk gaming, Caves of Chaos, or conflict. The 3 options. We'll put it to our audience and see what they say over the next week.
All right. Well, I will put that to you folks out there in TV land. We actually had pretty good engagement tonight. We had a little hello from one of our viewers, Proud Mommy, which I gotta be completely honest. First, welcome, Proud Mommy. Thank you for watching our stream. And second of all, I did not think that Proud Mommy would be the first username I would see saying hello during a game of conflict. But hey, that works for me. So, just whatever you guys want to see. We'll be back next week for sure. And I'm gonna. The video issues that popped up today shouldn't have, because when Kyle and I were just streaming on Facebook, it was just like, okay, capture Discord, stream it to Facebook's video. And this should have been capture Discord, stream it to YouTube's video. I wasn't doing anything different than what I had done before with Facebook, but it all broke. So I will test this between now and next session, and it won't be just Kyle talking to a voice from beyond. I think I can't remember if I told you this story, but one of the DM methods that Gary tried, like, oh, let's try this and see if this works, was that literally the DM would sit out of sight of the players. Like, it would literally be the voice of God over the gaming group, and it didn't work. So yeah, this is not my ideal thing. I wanted to be on camera too.
Oh.
So
My daughter heard that last week and she thought it was hilarious. That McCarver thought that was hilarious that he would do that. She goes, some guy was doing that, and I said it wasn't some guy, it was Gary Gygax.
yeah, Merkava.
Now I have to educate that poor young woman. But she's learning.
We'll bring her up slowly but sure. Hey, maybe we can have her as a guest on the show and play some games with her.
Oh, yeah.
That sounded so much creepier than it should have. Maybe she would like to engage in an RPG session. Oh my God.
Rolled up some characters. She'd rolled up some characters for us in case you needed backup.
Yeah, I might.
And she had a Hutchins, 34 years old, British. She's a pilot, basically. Yeah, she can fly fixed-wing propellers and fly aerostats. She can fly a dirigible. I don't know where she learned that, but that's what she rolled up. And a handgun. And it is an American, Corporal Charlotte Whiting Bock, who was 8 years in the Army. She has English and interview skill, familiarity, can speak Korean, first aid, psychology, handgun. And then there's Lance Corporal Trinidad Williams, who was 20 years in the Jamaican Army.
Irie.
Yeah, he does hunting and grappling and can ride horses and drive cars and shoot and interrogate people. I don't think I want to be interrogated by a yardie, but
yeah, no.
That's a frightening prospect. But yeah, so that she rolled them up for us.
My wife and I, we spent our honeymoon in the Caribbean, Barbados specifically, and they're like slang term for oh my gosh or wow or whatever was murder. So we'd say, oh yeah, we're from Florida, murder. And I'm beginning to think that maybe there's like a very real origin for that. When Merkava's character says murder, she's not just saying wow. So yeah, maybe we can bring Merkava on stream, and next week we'll, like I said, you know what? I'll put a poll up because I can do that on YouTube too. I'll put a poll up and I'll direct all the. I have my ways of reaching out to Facebook. It's not, they haven't cut me off yet, so I can bring some audience over here to vote for that. Never you fear, Kyle. So we'll see how that is. So for those of you who follow me daily, tomorrow I will be streaming on YouTube. And I will be wrapping up my GaryCon 2021 virtual session discussion. Talk about. I played Twilight 2000 in my last session, Kyle. You ought to listen to that one, dude. It was a pip. Because I had all ex-Army guys who hadn't they hadn't played Twilight 2000 in like 30 years. And were just shocked that someone was running Twilight 2001E. So they flooded into that game. And it was... You and I have talked about soldiers, like what soldiers really do. And hearing them just bullshitting together, even though they didn't know each other, was probably the most fun thing I got to do at Gary Con. Just laughing about stuff. And I know a couple of things. I know a few military meme anecdote things. So it was like, yeah, so, you guys, just for the sake of me not having to spend hours buying equipment, hours that we don't have because it's a con, going through equipment buys, whatever you need that's reasonable, you have packed into your M113 before you started to flee the Soviets, including MREs. And because I'm feeling generous, all of your MREs, regardless of the meal type, have peach cobbler desserts. And they were like, oh my God, the war is won. We're just going to find a village and set up shop. We have peach cobbler. So like any opportunity that they got to screw each other out of their peach cobbler desserts for their meal ready to eat packages. So I'll be talking about that a lot tomorrow. Friday, I don't know. I'll find something to do Friday. And then we'll clip back around on Monday. We got mail call Monday. I got some fun stuff to talk about Monday. And then Tuesday, we'll do something fun. And then Wednesday, we'll be right back here. All technical issues will be addressed. I didn't note, I'm not saying they'll be fixed. I'm saying they'll be addressed.
Not innovative. Not innovative.
Yes.
That's why it works.
And Kyle, can we buy Conflict yet?
No.
Okay.
Because we have to play test it.
We have to play test, which we're doing now. And now you realize you need to
I've
add
mentioned on the
rules.
previous.
You need to have
I
rules
mentioned
on
on the previous
Conflict.
stream.
You need to have rules on Conflict.
Previous stream, but I don't think not everyone will have heard that. There was a couple of years ago. There was a free RPG day, and so we just ran different games, and I ran a D&D session, but the first edition, of course, and had a little game table. And at the game table were two guys who had not gamed for more than 20 years. One of them had contributed one of the free RPGs. He'd written this strange thing. It was a strange format too, because it was like half digest. It reminded me, we used to get public transport timetables like that, this half, because it was meant to like fit in a jacket pocket or something. A sword wasn't a sword, it had some other name, and it wasn't from a different culture, it was just some shit he'd made up. And
Right.
Yeah, it was just this very strange sort of thing, and he hadn't gamed for 20 plus years. I invited him later on, I got everyone's emails and invited him to game with us further, but he declined. That's not the way to do it, guys. That's not the way to do it.
No, that's not.
You write the game, you write what seems reasonable, you roll up some characters, you try something out with your friends, you do some play testing, and then the real test is you take the rules and you pass it on to people to play without, because the real test is, can they play the game just using the rules? It's not a big deal to play the game when the writer is running everything, because any gaps I can paper over with my game master. And then I might not think to fill in those gaps when I, edit the text afterwards. So that's the real test. So the alpha test is playing with people that I know, with me refereeing or with one of them refereeing. And the beta testing is passing it out to others. So it's got to be thoroughly alpha tested and beta tested. Obviously, we would invite our viewers to come and help us alpha test it and perhaps later beta test it as well, which means you get free copies. When all that is done, then it gets officially published. Because we're going to do this properly. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. We're not going to do it in the modern style where you have a committee of people and they pass it by the diversity, inclusion and equity team and all that sort of bullshit. We're going to do it properly, the way it used to be done.
Right on, man. Absolutely. And I will, an important thing I think you discovered tonight, you definitely need to have glass table cleaner in your weapons charts. Range 1, 2, 3 feet. Incapacitate only.
There's a sort of a noxious substances thing for when people get hit by nerve gas or tear gas or something like that. So I was thinking, if he hits, I've got to decide how much being hit by with table cleaner will inhibit somebody. Squirted in the face with the stuff.
Right.
I'd probably just let it be an attack, and if it's a wounding attack, then it's -2, same as any other wound. If it's an incapacitating attack, he's blinded, and if it's a KIA attack, he's blinded and he falls down. Which would be pretty extreme with some window cleaner, but I guess it's possible.
Sure.
If you've got a good squirt. I'm not going to go inside and try it.
No. Don't try this at home, kids. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up there. I'm going to troubleshoot technical issues, and I might even call you up, Kyle, at some point between now and then so we can do it offline and see if we get this Fargan thing working. So thank you again, Proud Mommy, for popping in the chat and saying hi. We appreciate that. And Kyle, thank you as always. Conflict is currently not available yet, but as he said, we're going to test the hell out of it, and then you guys are going to get to tear into it, and it's going to be loads of fun as we continue on with this crazy thing. One thing I am going to talk about a little bit more tomorrow is Patreon, but that'll be for tomorrow. So you guys have an absolutely wonderful evening. Kyle, thank you as always, my dear, dear friend, and I'll see you later.